Wow, look at that. I'm dry again.
Great. Glad to hear it.
That's fantastic. I'm glad you're not sick. I'm glad you're not, it was a long journey for you to finally get back to the studio. I mean, what happened? What happened to you, Jason?
I don't know. So the last thing I remember is like basically I walked out of here. I think I just like passed out.
Oh.
And then I woke up and I was in this chair again.
Holy crap.
What a riveting story.
Anyway, welcome back to the Pit Podcast.
What
I'm
day
your
is
host,
it?
Nathan. We got host Chris.
Oh, boom!
I don't remember my name.
Host Jason. So happy to thank you for joining. Jason, how you been?
Oh, I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm so chill. Happy to be back. Happy to get right back into it. I think we got some good topics today. I of course can't see them because, but
We've excluded you from seeing them.
yeah,
Let's just say for that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're a little unpredictable.
they don't really let me see or do anything. They actually keep a muzzle on me right up until we start recording.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think
Send help.
We treat you. We pay you.
Yeah. We let you out of the cage sometimes. See some sunlight. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I appreciate that.
fine. Anyway, we've completed week 1. We've completed week 2.
We have. It's week 2.
It's week 2.
Week 2 of it's over. Now
It's
we're
over.
heading into week 3 of events, and boy, there's a lot of stuff that happened. Specifically at our world tour that we went to. The first one being, let's talk, actually, since you're here now, Jason, let's really talk about Milford. So, what happened? What did happen at Milford?
Milford's Milford. Everyone knows this.
Milford. Well, in what context though? Milford.
Hot.
Yeah.
Hot.
Okay.
Gems.
Gems.
Rock
Gem-
Force.
Yeah.
Robostangs.
That's pretty much. Yeah, I mean, you got,
Okay.
How'd it go for your team?
they went pretty well.
Good.
They played pretty well, but I think the competition pretty much went as expected.
Mm-hmm.
Hot won again.
They're looking pretty good, huh?
Yeah, but
they're great.
Did they win as like a number 1 seed or led the event of that nature, or were they just like a solid, consistent bot that got them that win?
I mean, I forget what the rankings were, but no, the Dexter Dreadbots popped off. That was the big thing of the event, was the Dexter Dreadbots
Really?
popping off. I think they were in first place and they picked Hot. And Hot just had a killer auto. They should have just used the auto through Teleop because it was that good.
Mm.
And then they did the thing and then they eventually won. So great for Dexter Dreadnoughts. That's a team you don't really see
Nope.
that much. So I was really happy for them.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great to see, there's those, you see the same 5 teams winning all the time. So it's great to see someone else.
But you
Share
know
the
what?
love.
Yeah, but Dreadbots, they've always been a solid team. They have always been, a team that's always been out there and making a splash. And to have them hear that they've been rock solid at Milford to get the win.
Yeah.
That's an incredible story. That's an incredible story. As well as some other storylines that at Milford as well. Some teams that we thought that they would make a big splash, but ended up with robot issues, I'm sure, right? As well as a lot of variables, right? A lot of variables that would happen for teams that would be guessed or estimated that, hey, they're gonna make a splash. They're gonna rock solid and make a name. Instead, again, robot issues, which is ultimately inevitable, right?
Mm-hmm.
More specifically, I was surprised to see the rankings of 4362 Gems.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. So I was gonna say because they keep a bag over my head and a muzzle on me when I'm not here.
No.
Right. So I didn't really get to see too much. But yeah, the Gems. Whoa. That was unexpected.
Yeah.
Right.
Very
What
unexpected.
happened? Good, bad? Tell me about it.
I think they got some issues to fix, but once they get those issues, they'll probably be right back up where Gems usually are. But
What were they
yeah,
ranked?
they
down.
not super high.
Not to the same level as like last year or previous year. So so you were at that event. So was there any specific
physically?
A lot of physical, mechanical,
physically there present, yeah.
Was there any like mechanical or software issues that they were dealing with at the event that you know of, or
I don't know.
Or was it like a combination of those things?
I mean, I feel like it just might have been like a combination. Their bumpers look great. Bumpers always look great. You know, they use that nice curved bumper with a nice applique lettering on it.
Nice.
Some embroidery terms.
Yeah.
That's.
But you know, Gems they're gonna bounce back. They're usually a strong contender. Yeah. And you know, the team is phenomenal. The kids, they work very hard, so I know that they will bounce back and be able to make their splash at Troy. But man, Milford. And also one more quick thing on Milford. You guys won Impact as well, right?
Yeah, Robostangs Won Impact again. Good for them. Congrats. I don't really have anything to do with that.
That's good. That's good stuff.
We have a great team.
It's nice to be recognized for that kind of contributions to the community, right?
Yeah,
so congrats either way. Congrats, Robostangs.
Thank you. Yeah, they have a great team of students that really not only do all the outreach, but kind of combine it into like a 5-minute presentation, which is a really tough thing to do. But I watched the presentation a couple of days before the event, and it looked pretty solid. I think it was a good representation of all the hard work that they put in. So
fantastic.
Maybe we can get a repeat if you guys win it at states and
maybe
qualifying for champs.
There's
awesome.
a chance. There's a chance they'll do it.
It won't be by a robot. I'm sorry, Jasper.
It's still early.
No, all right. Shout out Devin. All right, continue.
Continue, he says. Well, speaking of continuing, Ferndale was quite the event. There was a lot of powerhouse teams that was there, right? You had Killer Bees. You had the Crew. You also had Night Vision that was there.
Robo
Jackets, they were there. Like you had
Robo Cubs
even, yeah.
Yeah, typically most of those teams are at Milford, so glad they went
somewhere else.
Yeah. But I think a lot of those teams were, because Ferndale is relatively central within southeast of Michigan, that they all chose to come here, and boy, did it deliver, right? You had Killer Bees who were in the lead of first place with, I believe the ranking points was, they were up ahead like 7, 8, even more than that, maybe even 9 ranking points ahead of second place.
Don't quote that. Don't quote him on that, because he's probably wrong.
Yeah,
we'll let him keep going.
Yeah, it was a little bit of go, but then you had Robo Jackets, which their storyline was they didn't have a freaking robot 2 weeks or like a week or 2 weeks prior to load-in at Ferndale. And they ended up,
really?
Yeah,
I didn't hear that.
They didn't have they had like a chassis, of course. They didn't have like a completed built like their elevator, their coral algae mechanism. Like they didn't have the entire thing onto the frame of the chassis. Like a week or 2 of the event, right before load-in, and they were solid. They had a multi-piece level 4 coral mechanism, as well as a solid algae play as well when needed to clear off from the reef. And it's why I think that marriage of those teams during playoffs were as successful as they were. They were really solid. And heck, we also got to give you guys a shout out as well by 1250 finally getting that elusive blue banner.
Man, we gotta roll it all the way back first. You're jumping the gun, right? We gotta roll it all the way back to Friday load-in, Saturday, Sunday. Friday was interesting walking into the venue, right? First time for an event to be held at Ferndale. I liked the gym. Gym was pretty good, very spacious, a lot of room around the stands for the field and stuff, and room for queuing and all that. They had an upper level to watch the field, which was really nice. I really appreciate when venues have that, like at Troy. The pits were a little small, but small's fine. It's what you got, right? It was in a hallway, so it was pretty unique.
Yeah, right.
They had a staircase in the middle of the pits, which was pretty interesting. So it was a quick trip down to the lunchroom that made it. I felt kind of bad for any teams that were towards the back of the pits, because they had a much longer walk to get to the field. But not much we could do about that. Loading was a little hectic. It took us a long time to get inspected. But no issues once we actually had an inspector with us and got through the process. Practice matches were good. We had like 1 or 2 that we snuck in, and we were looking pretty good around practice matches too. Like the one practice match, well, the 1 or 2 that we had, we were firing on all cylinders. Everything was looking great. We come in on Saturday and start the slow decline of our robot, and wasn't able to handle the rigorous stress that we were playing on Saturday. It was mostly caused by our elevator, right? Elevator cables were slipping. So elevator would go up, then it would go down, and it would go up back, and it would not be in the same spot. And same with the turret, just kind of going back and forth and not ending up in the same spot that we, set it to. So all that to say that it was a lot of inconsistency on our part, and we needed to come back on the second day and kind of change up the strategy a bit. So come back on Sunday, and we're doing a bit better, and we're still kind of ranked, a little low. And it's like, well, we just need to be consistent at this point. And the most consistent thing we have about us is the climber at that point. And we don't have a deep climber; we have a shallow climber, but it was working. So we go through alliance selection, first time for the new alliance selection that we experienced, and we're going back and forth, and we see teams head to the field. The Bears, they move forward onto the field. Tornadoes, their captains, they pick Bears and Goon Squad. So we started seeing our friends go onto the field and stuff, and we're just kind of left alone, standing there, me and my 2 other students. And we're like, it's getting a little close. It's getting a little tight. We don't know if we're gonna make it. Maybe not. 50-50. Do we feel like we should have been picked? Probably not. We're probably a lot tougher on ourselves, right? And we felt like we weren't playing to the expectations that we had set at the time, right? We wanted to be a little bit more powerful with the coral, and it was just a harder game piece to deal with. So we probably felt like we shouldn't have been picked, but the Killer Bees and the Robo Jackets thought otherwise, and they really liked our climber, and it worked out, and that's why they picked us. And we were like, well, we worked with the Bees last year, right, at Livonia, so we ended up picking them to make a finals run at that event, and first time working with the Robo Jackets in a while, so it was a great experience for both teams, for all 3 teams. They were all really nice to work with, and they had their plan. They came towards us and like, let's put you on defense and make sure you got your climb. And we're like, cool, we can definitely do that and keep the robot consistent and working and making sure nothing's wrong with the drivetrain or anything like that. And we won the first blue banner in our team's history.
That's huge. That's huge.
Right,
I totally forgot Bees were at Livonia last year.
Bees were at Livonia last year, yeah.
Well, that's huge. Congratulations, really.
Thank you, guys.
I could tell even from your voice right there, the emotions that's coming, from you, and that storyline for you guys, because it's everyone remembers their first, right, and it's a really special moment for when you feel that level of you finally did it, right? You finally hit that echelon. You finally are on that level of what we're doing works. And as long as we're able to keep working hard, be able to keep at it, then more success will come towards your way. And based on what your performance at Ferndale, right? Even your guys' defense and consistent shallow climb, right, played a part of that crucial strategy to get you guys, the win and get you guys working together and working through all those challenges. And it's not easy. Let me tell you,
That's for sure.
It is not easy.
You're going 20 some years as a team and not winning a blue banner. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it still is a special part. And
for sure. It's unbelievable. It's definitely, I don't think it was on any of our bingo cards on how to win that. But at some point, like you're saying, it was going to happen, and we've got one under our belt now. So it's just going to make room for more to come, hopefully. And, we have the formula, the recipe, not by ourselves, with the jackets and the bees to kind of give us that key. But we're going to work on that towards the future. And it fueled the kids a lot for sure. Right. I think that's what matters the most, was that all the students were very happy and very excited to win and have that payoff for them. And it's not all about winning, but in that case, those kids had a really rough Saturday, and to have it completely turn around in 180 on Sunday for them was the best feeling for them. And that's all I care about, is that they had a good time.
That's good.
Where are you going next?
We will be at Woodhaven week 4. And we shall see. We are going to come in with some different strategies. Can't spoil them yet, but we've got something cooking. So we're going to see if it's hot or flop.
Rad.
Like that TikTok people that goes, factor cap, you know.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I tried.
It was still a crazy event, you know. A lot, like you said, a lot of really good teams. RoboCubs are really interesting to see. RoboJack is really powerful. Bees with their, you know, collapsible elevator, that was pretty sick. Crew, fast as usual. Can't wait to see all those teams get, you know, much better as we move towards the States, right? Once we get towards States, it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts.
Be crazy.
Yeah.
So
how about we move on to week 2 though?
Week 2. I think this is what's.
That was so long ago.
It was so long ago, right?
And that was like, I mean, we're recording this a week later, right?
This is gonna go out on Tuesday, I think.
I just wanted to make them think, but yeah.
This, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It was quite a powerhouse event in terms of volunteers and
Which event?
Kettering 2.
Kettering 2.
We were volunteers there, and we saw it was interesting for this event. We saw well, one of those being right 2337 engine nerds. From our vantage point, we saw that engine nerds was a fully autonomous
Basically.
Yeah, fully autonomous, a bunch of presets that they had in their controls that was not much driver input of manual driving, other than the presets of what coral to play, or the coral, what level they're on, what side of the reef they want to play on, where to grab the coral from, as well as even defense. Defense, as a defender is trying to block that loading station, they had presets to how to manage around that defense, right?
Interesting.
It was honestly sick.
Yeah.
And the robot itself is solid.
It's so cool. Yeah, the engineers have a really cool robot this year. Yeah, so the I don't know if you want to call it the driver or the operator, but one of the students on the drive team had a very big touchscreen on their driver station, and she was, you know, tapping the screen, being like, coral scored there, coral there, bam, and, you know, filling out for the robot to know which positions were still available to score. And so then the robot would just, autonomously, as far as we understand, autonomously drive back and forth and, you know, score. And it was really impressive. It was truly, it's cooking.
Yeah.
It's cooking. And they're doing a really job at cooking.
Yeah. and it's kind of funny too, that if you look at the, at least for us, Jason, it might be a little different for you at Milford, but at least from our point of view of what the competition was like at Ferndale versus Kettering 2, it was more or less really different in terms of pacing of how the matches played, as well as what strategies was running, right? A lot of it was more so the same, right? We saw a lot of options for, at least in Ferndale. Do we go for 6 ranking points, or do we just go for the win? Do we ensure ourselves 4 or 5 ranking points, or do we risk going for that 6th one and try to get the unicorn match? Versus Kettering 2, just based on like capabilities of certain robots, like several Everybots, Kitbots, then elevators, right? Then you have Algae manipulators, right? And even some climbs, right? There wasn't a whole lot of talk of, do we go for 6 ranking points? Because more times than not, it was that much of a challenge to even get that 6th ranking point. So it was more so of how do we ensure the win? That's really what the main focus was, and can we achieve that 5 ranking point match? That's great. To me, it's such a unique, because I figured that level of play would have been flip flop, right? Like Kettering 2 play week 1, right? Ferndale play week 2. It said it was kind of for us different and reverse, almost even.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, which again, it's no knock of anything, right? All the teams, right? They're playing their game. They're playing how they want to play, how they prepared for their up and coming events, and it's just a pattern of what we see from each of those events. So that's something that I find interesting in.
Yeah, I always felt like week ones were maybe like a little bit more competitive than week twos, just in general, just because I feel like a lot of those heavy hitter teams like to go to a week one just because usually they have, like a solid bot by then. And usually everyone's new to driving, so they kind of want to get that first comp out of the way before everyone else can kind of get some practice in.
Right.
So these teams with these heavy hitting bots all the time, I feel like they like to go to week ones because they can kind of rely more on their robot than their driving skills. So they like to kind of catch everyone before their driving catches up.
Right.
Yep.
So, on topic of drivers, right? Their vision is vastly obscured compared to what we see from the audience, right? We were on the sidelines of the field, right? And more or less same playing field as like what the audience see in the stands, right? They have a side view of what's happening on the field and they can pick out, oh, red side is doing this, but the blue side, they're playing catch up. They're in the lead, right? On the driver's side, holy crap, there is so much crap. There's so much crap on the field that drivers have to look through and have to figure out what's happening on the field to determine what's their next move in the match. Especially like a defender, right?
Yeah.
As a defense buy, you have if you're in the middle station and you're trying to play defense, you have to try to move your eyes, shift it out, left or right of your own reef, look through the cages, look through the entire barge, and then try to see from the other side of the field through the glass this little speck of area that you can kind of see with your own eyes to see if you're able to play defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think simply if you're going to play defense, you just want to put your defender in the middle driver station. But also, like, in a game like this, you're not really concerned about with like what the other team is doing, much or more or less of just, are we behind or are we ahead? Because you have the scores. They have the scores behind their number.
The team signs.
Yeah, the team signs. But really, I mean, it doesn't really matter to a team like whether or not their opposing lines putting up L4s versus L3s. Like you can't really see the reef, but you do know if they're ahead or behind. So, I mean, if they're ahead, you can send some defense over if you want. But I don't really know if I don't know.
Middle driver station is pretty tough to look through. I agree with that. Left and right are pretty clear.
They're pretty good.
No reefs
as
to look
long as
through.
you don't want to as long as you don't have to look to I mean, really, like defense, all you need is just have them on one side of the field, and they can use a camera to go off to the other corner if they want. But really, I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah. What
At least
we
from what I heard.
learned talking Saturday night with Clinton, the drive coach from Engine Nerds, was that it's very tough for the drivers to see the refs because of the truss in the middle of the field, right? So that kind of cuts everything off at about shoulder height, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of can't really see the ref if they're, calling a pin or waving a flag or something like that. So it gets a little tough there.
Good thing they can hear us.
Yeah. Especially Ian, he's a little loud. So good thing, as long as your refs are loud, then we should be good. But stuff like that, I didn't realize how much the truss being in the middle of the field would obscure that too. Because a lot of the penalties are from the defenders. I think when they're coming on the opposite side of the field. So.
Heck, even like in an audience, right? That truss is obscuring a lot of vision.
That was the other thing too. Was that he was saying if you're sitting in the stands and you're like dead center of the field, you can't really see the robots that are climbing up, right? Because the truss leg is still coming down on either side of the field, right? You got to you got to sit left or right of the center.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. This game freaking sucks to watch. There's no knock of the game design committee trying to make this game engineering wise as interesting as possible, but just to watch. bro, it's so boring. Like from the stands, right? Even on the sidelines, right? I'm sure, like as a driver, it's kind of exciting because you gotta pay attention to all these little things that'll add up to your score, add up to rankings, and all that nature, right? But as an audience member, bro, all you're seeing is some of these bots is like, oh, cycling from your loading station, placing on your reef, and then a little toss on the processor in the bar in the net, and then the climb.
Yeah.
Heck, if you're in the center of the freaking of the truss, you can't even see your own team climb. Like
Shout out that one team that was shooting LG.
Yeah, Vassar Voltage.
Yeah,
That was pretty sick.
I haven't seen a robot do that. Like
yeah.
hot, they can place into the net. Frog Force, they can place into the net. But I haven't seen any shooting ones.
Which that's the most exciting part of the game. And if that's your most like exciting part of the game to watch, is a robot grabs an algae and or into the net, like okay, sure, whatever, that's fine. And a little flare from like 2004, I think, or 2003, or whatever that game was when they also did something similar to this, right? But like, holy crap, it is not, because look at last year. Last year, you had a lot of interaction with teams, right? You can cycle, you could, pass.
Last year was a great game.
It was so fun to watch. This year, I understand it's a pick and place game, so by nature, it's going to be a little difficult to watch. But like I said, there's so much obscure action and little interactions between the teams, even for like co-op. You're not getting that much interaction to see of the actual game besides defense, right?
They need to bring back. Sorry, they need to bring back like actual working together co-op, not just. Oh, we're gonna play some stuff into here, and then we're gonna decide if we want to, do this. But like bring back like 2015 when you had to like stack the totes together in the middle of the field,
or the 2012. Let's both balance on the same bridge. Yeah, let's do it together. Yeah, not just we'll do two if you do two. We'll put in a note and press the button. If you put in a note, press the button. Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
Comparison with last year, because last year was a shooting game. It wasn't the pick and place game. Right, so if we were going to do a fair comparison, it'd probably be compared to 23, right? Yeah, charged up because that was also a pick and place game, right?
Right. That game was boring to watch too.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
This year's okay. It's I think the interesting part about this year's game is the robots that are doing it right. Like I really enjoy watching Engineered's robot. I could probably watch that robot all day. Just how smooth and silky it was to the robot's actions.
I think you'd like Hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm excited to see it in person.
Yeah.
That's the individual robots and how creative some of the teams are getting are probably the thing that I find most exciting about this year's game. But I think this is just me. The pick and place games aren't as exciting as the shooting games for me. Right.
Yeah, that is true.
So that's just what you get from the GDC. That's the dice you roll, right?
I do roll
with it. It's the game we got this year, I
do like what you said about teams being creative. Like I feel like pick and place games really allow teams to kind of do different things. Like last year, you had robots with a ground intake and then a top and bottom roller shooter. And that was pretty much as much variation as you got when it came to like worlds or whatnot. But like here, we have some robots that only do coral, or there are some robots that only do algae.
Yep.
Teams that do both. And the way they do them are so different. You have the teams that place algae into the net. You have the teams that shoot algae into the net. There's so many options on how to do it. So like honestly, like props to GDC for that.
Yeah. 2 game pieces is the move.
Yeah. Right. I mean, like even during finals being next to the field, it was just a little underwhelming. But it was week 2.
Yeah.
It's week 2. It's still everyone's first time playing the game. So, it's probably going to get better.
Even in week 2, I find it very interesting that algae is starting to become more and more relevant now. Because week 1, it was kind of taking a back burner and a lot of people didn't really pay too much attention to it. Yeah. But now I think people are starting to pick up on, reefs are starting to get full, right?
What do we do next?
Yeah, what else can we do other than play defense, right? Yeah, and I think that's algae. But I think a lot more teams are going to start looking into processor options and scoring it into the net themselves,
One thing that I was kind of surprised that we haven't seen more people doing was the last second algae. Like week 1, we were like a couple teams were doing it, but like we only saw it a couple times at Kettering where teams putting in the algae at the last second so the human player doesn't have time to throw it.
Into where? The processor?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because you have the 3-second grace period from when the match ends to when they stop counting.
Yeah.
So as long as your LG is able to get past the sensors in
Should
those
be
3
good,
seconds,
yeah.
you're
That's pretty
good.
smart.
That's
Yeah,
extra.
so then it would be the full 6 points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
So I was
That's
a little
smart.
surprised that people haven't really caught on to that yet.
Yeah.
Well, now you're seeing it now. I'm sure
Yeah,
everyone's
now
good,
everybody's
'cause
gonna
it's
do
an
it.
easy
Nobody's gonna
strategy.
do it. Nobody watches
It's an
this.
easy strategy. You should do it.
That's cool.
Especially
That's pretty smart.
if you can't deep climb, if you can't do any climb,
Yeah.
do that. Easy.
Because that's worth a shallow.
Easy money.
Yeah.
Easy money. Speaking of easy money,
You guys got any favorite robots you've seen?
Yeah. I want to point this out. I really want to point this out. 2056 OP Robotics.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't
Where-
seen
You haven't
it.
seen it?
No,
Bro,
where's everybody seeing
this?
this?
Is in Niagara, Niagara College, something like that. It's Ontario.
I know where they're from, but where's the video?
That's not what they're from. It's the event that they're at.
Oh,
it's,
okay.
It's the match videos at Niagara, whatever, right?
Okay.
But OP
So
Robotics.
they played already.
Well, as we're recording this, they're probably playing right now.
Okay.
but-
Right now?
but
They're
at
playing
the-
a match
but when
right
it's- But when this video gets released, all their match videos have been posted already. But
Yeah.
at this moment, in my opinion, OP Robotics is the #1 bot in the world and easily my favorite design of the year. It's so freaking it's relatively simple, right? It's actually a heavily modified version of the RI3D. You know how like 254 they copied that design from an RI3D team, which was
I haven't seen 254's
No,
robots.
I
no,
haven't
not 254. I'm sorry, the Bears, 247s.
Yeah.
Every bots that they copied from
Robostangs?
Robostangs, yeah. It looked like 2056 did that design, but had everything driven. So they are a ground intake with, I believe it looked like a four bar. Not a 4-bar, but like it's an intake that comes out of the frame perimeter. And the guy looked like 4 hex shafts that with a bunch of compliant wheels that they suck the coral in and from any orientation off the ground, and they have an arm that drives down, and as they lift up and place a coral, the wheels they're on chains. It looks like
Cool.
X6 X44s.
We had-
It's like they place.
Oh my god, they're so fast. Okay, the craziest thing about this robot is how fast the coral moves through their robot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Like it's in their intake of 1 second, and then like in like a quarter of a second later, it's in the front of the robot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It drops down and
Yeah, they were just
releases out.
nailing the net with LG.
Yeah, and they do everything. They do everything, and I don't.
Oh my god, they're
I
so
don't-
fast.
Yeah, I don't remember if they climb or not. But
Oh
if
my
they
god,
don't,
you just don't see this in Michigan. I'm gonna be honest.
No, Michigan's #1. What are you talking about?
Do better.
yeah. So we're stepping up, right? Stepping up. But,
Jason, do you have a favorite robot you've seen or are excited to see?
You know what? What's that team that shot LG into the net?
Faster voltage.
Faster voltage. Faster voltage #1.
Faster voltage.
They're gonna take it all.
#1
They're-
LG shooter.
They're taking it all. You can expect to see them winning FEMS 9.
Cool.
Incredible.
Cool.
Yep.
Hey,
I'm putting all my
what's
money on
yours,
that.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Favorite robot that I've seen so far is probably Engine Nerds. I think they did
Nerds
a
is solid.
fantastic job.
Yeah.
Favorite robot that I'm excited to see. I'm a big fan of Symbotics.
Symbiotics is competing at the same event as OP, so you will be able to see them.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Cool.
Actually, going back to that.
I'm also excited to see Bomb Squad. I'll sneak that in real quick.
Bomb Squad,
Yeah,
Squad.
I love Team 16.
Classic.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Team 16.
So thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, whatever the YouTube wants you to do. Leave a comment about Chris being, I don't know, Chris doing
fart.
something. Leave a comment about your favorite
I just
robot.
did.
How about that? Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, please. Make sure to get your Pit Podcast merch on shop.pitpodcast.com.
Merch.
If you have
Yeah,
a question
all
for
this.
us or you want to be on Pit Podcast, we have 2 links for Google Forms down below. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Yeah, episode powered by Royal Shirteries and BMO, Brian Moorhead.
BMO!
You're the G, BMO!